Hey everybody, it's Ian from Ferrum back with another community update. I'm really excited about this week's community update because I'm here with three of my new teammates, Taha, Nick, and Nichell, who will introduce themselves shortly. But on this update, I want to talk about a couple things. One, I want to talk about where Ferrum is as a business, the various lines of business we have, and what's coming up with each one, and sort of the growth trajectory for each. I also want to talk about the upcoming pre-sales. That's obviously something very pertinent to the community, and you guys probably have questions about what's coming up, status of certain ones, and I just want to spend a little time clearing that up. But yeah, without further ado, I'd love to introduce Nick, Taha, and Nichell from the Ferrum Growth Strategy Division, also known as the Get Shit Done team. A moniker I love and is so true. Before they introduce themselves, I just want to first of all thank them for bringing tremendous value to Ferrum in even just the short time they've been with us. They're bringing a level of organization, professionalism, and really sort of a teamwork mentality that has just been huge for us. So thank you to these guys. I also want to thank some of the other new Ferrum teammates who are not here on this call, but hopefully will be one day. And you've probably gotten to know them a little bit over the last few months. Yvonne, Maddie, Ben, who does our tech support, Patrick, who is the genius behind a lot of these pre-sales. We've just hired many more people, as a matter of fact. So Ferrum is growing at a really tremendous pace, and I couldn't be prouder of where we are, and I couldn't be more excited about where we're going. So, to give folks an idea about the scope and the breadth of what Ferrum has become, there's really 4 or maybe 5 divisions now within the project or the company. I forgot to mention Carlos, who many know behind our NFTs. Shout out to Carlos. Thrilled to report that we're about to launch our new collectible game involving Ferrum NFT characters and involving other projects and actually their tokens, such that this game is going to be incredibly lucrative for the participants, in addition to being sort of a beautiful representation of Ferrum NFTs. Is really excellent designs, which you guys will be seeing really soon. So NFT division, Taha, Nick, and Nichell are core members of that. They're kicking ass. I'm not gonna lie. They're signing up clients left and right, developing strategies along with Carlos. Really impressive what they've done on the NFT side, and you guys everyone's gonna be seeing more of this shortly. So the NFT division is one thing that I don't think a lot of people know about, but it's really one of our strengths now. Of course, you have the pre-sale division, right? That's everyone on the team who manages the incubations and the pre-sales. Patrick and I largely take a lead there, but we've just hired 3 or 4 more people that are going to be taking a customer support role. You'll be meeting them soon. Really excellent. Going to be adding a lot of value on this sort of the pre-sale organizational side. Then also related to that is actually the incubator itself. And one thing that's unique about the Ferrum incubator is we like to solve problems that these incubator projects face by adding personnel to their team, as so to speak. And so we have many support staff that come in and help create content, do social media marketing, help create token utilities, or even do whole videos like Nick, Taha, and Nichell did with the BSC View video day, which I highly recommend everyone checking out. So that's the incubator is a whole nother arm of Ferrum that people need to be aware of. Something that's exploded in popularity recently, which has been really exciting for me to be sort of a fly on the wall at, is our anti-bot team. So the anti-bot division, you could call it, right? And we've protected now 6 or 7 launches, projects that bots had targeted and had attempted to snipe the listing, and we're going to dump on the community, but for the work of the anti-bot team in preventing those bots from actually selling and dumping those tokens on the community. So that's a really exciting new division. We just brought on someone named Kurt, who's been very helpful in helping us source clients and work with the clients. And of course, we have the devs on that team. And then, of course, last but not least, we have the core dev team as well, right, who are building products. We've built some really cool new staking tech that's going to be announced soon. We're doing something with Binance Smart Chain that's going to be announced soon that's really big. And then we have another big product in the pipeline that is being worked on that I think people are going to love and add a lot of value to our whole ecosystem. So yeah, I probably missed a couple divisions too, and I apologize to the team members who I neglected to give a shout out to, but I want to thank all of you. You're doing an amazing job. We're growing at a tremendous pace, and I'm really looking forward to rest of 2021 into 2022 and beyond. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nick, Taha, and Nichell to introduce themselves, explain a little bit what they do at Ferrum, and we'll keep this thing moving.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for the intro. And wow, I mean, this is you guys just kind of looked over and heard about some of the divisions at Ferrum, and we're really excited about everything that Ferrum has done already in the past, some of the things that are upcoming. We'd like to introduce ourselves and our background a little bit to give you a little bit of context as to the caliber of expertise and talent that Ferrum continues to bring on board, because we're just the tip of the iceberg. Our team members that support us are much smarter and much more capable in each one of their areas. But this is just to kind of give the community an update insight as to where Ferrum's headed. So I'm going to request my teammates Nick and Nichell to kind of do an intro. We'll start with Nick, Nichell, come back over to myself. So Nick, I know you have a good history with Ferrum. You're actually the one who kind of introduced the rest of us to Ferrum as well. And so you want to kind of talk about a little bit of your background and maybe how you came across Ferrum as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Taha. And thanks, Ian. Super exciting updates. This is going to be fun. So yeah, in terms of crypto, I guess I was a little bit of a late bloomer, having gotten involved in 2017. Not that late, but later than a lot of people here. That being said, I dove headfirst down the rabbit hole, and now I pride myself in having a solid understanding of fundamentals and where the true value lies in the space. Hence why I'm sitting here with Ferrum. But I guess I'll touch a little bit on my traditional experience that I'll be bringing to Ferrum. I have a bit of an eclectic background. I was actually both a performing artist and a ghostwriter / studio musician for many years. I recorded music with mega producer Scott Storch, recorded music with Rick Ross, Chris Brown, just to name a few. And through my time in the industry, I was able to establish quite a few relationships throughout various sectors of the entertainment world. So I'm super excited to be bringing many of these connections into the Ferrum NFT ecosystem and aid in Ferrum's overall mission of breaking down barriers to mass adoption. So then I also spent quite a bit of time as an operations lead for a rideshare company, where I traveled through the country to about 30 different states, meeting with different regulators and government officials, and forming strategic partnerships with different businesses like bars and nightclubs and restaurants and sports teams and so on and so forth. So as far as bringing on my experience in forming mutually beneficial relationships, hence the strategic partner aspect, I'm really excited about that, as well as bringing on some of the operational experience to Ferrum as well. And then, yeah, how I ran into Ferrum. This was I should write one of those stories actually that we're doing for the the Ferrum, write a story about Ferrum. That's a really cool initiative, by the way. And if you have a good story, I definitely recommend writing one, because there's a lot of them out there. So yeah, I Ferrum last summer. It was during that whole DeFi boom that kind of happened in like July, August. I was kind of scrounging around, tossing a little bits of money at low cap DeFi plays. And as I started to see the price action of Ferrum over the few weeks that followed, I decided to take a deep dive into the project before deciding to like really ape into it. So, I wanted to kind of figure out, what are the fundamentals behind it? Who's behind it? Why are they doing it? And when I noticed how sold out and loyal this community was that you, Ian, had cultivated, and then combine that with the products that Naeem and the devs were creating. It didn't really take long for me to become a diehard Ferrum fanboy with a pretty large bag. So yeah, Ferrum's been my favorite project for some time now. So it's really like a dream to be working alongside this incredible team of so many talented individuals. I've always been bullish on Ferrum, but after seeing the inner workings of this organization and how it operates, and getting some of that privileged inside information on all the exciting products and projects and and other roadmap items that are in the pipeline, I'm even more bullish than I ever was. It's just a beast of a DeFi monster. It's not the low cap DeFi play that I once knew yet. There's still so much room for growth, and the sky is really the limit for this project. And I'm like just beyond stoked to be here for it, and hope to be part of helping it realize its true potential. So thanks so much, Ian, for the opportunity. I know there are so many people that have helped make this happen, but what you have done here is it's remarkable, man. And I'm really happy to be here. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Nick. Nichell, you want to hit a little bit on your background as well?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to jump in. So hi, I'm Nichell. I'm also part of the GSD team. Thank you, Ian, so much for that perfect introduction to our team, and also letting everyone know what the acronym stands for, because that's exactly what we do here. We get shit done. So I'll just give you a really brief overview of some of my background and what I bring to the Ferrum team. So a lot of my background, I really come from the corporate space. I spent the last 11 years working for an organization that manages digital brand assets for large corporations. The bulk of what they do is really incorporate organizations. So if any of you have ever incorporated a business, likely you actually went through this business based in Delaware. I had an amazing experience there over an 11-year period. I was able to come into a department that was really brand new as a division. And I spent 11 years working across that division and across the other 5 divisions within that organization, really managing the portfolios and the digital brand assets for large companies like Microsoft or Apple. I was very fortunate to work with a lot of amazing people. From the time that department started, we were brand new. It was really a baby of a department. And by the time I left and I decided to move on to other ventures, that organization alone, just that division, was bringing over 100 million in revenue every single year. It was amazing to see it grow. I learned so much. And a lot of my knowledge and background that I was really excited to bring with myself to Ferrum came from that experience. So let me transition that to what I'm doing now at Ferrum, or what I have the opportunity to do. I think a lot of what everyone's saying here today really speaks to it. Is we talk a lot about Ferrum speed and how fast the crypto space moves, and how fast and how agile our teams at Ferrum need to be in order to get things done and stay ahead of the curve. To throw in another phrase I like to hear too, everything that Ferrum touches is gold. And the reason for that is the teams. It's the people behind the Ferrum brand that make that happen. So what I really bring to that, or what I try to bring to the table, are a lot of elements around organization, around change management, which really is the cornerstone of crypto, right? Everything's changing. You really have to love change to love being in crypto, because it changes by the minute. So to make things possible, to make that execution as great as it can be, change management is really a vital element that needs to be there. And that's a big part that I bring. I love to remove obstacles from teammates, from projects, and really make it the best that it possibly can be. I'm beyond excited to be with Ferrum. Nick actually introduced us to Ferrum, so I really can't stop thanking him for that. I know he gave his amazing story, and I actually love hearing it every time he says it, because it's such a great story. But we were so excited just a couple months ago to get into Ferrum, and really, from the aspect of filling up our bags with Ferrum, because we saw what a phenomenal project that we were getting in on, and the potential of it. So now that we really have the opportunity to work alongside these amazing, brilliant individuals that are at Ferrum, we're really getting to see the potential of what 2020 and 2022 have in store for the roadmap of products, of technology, of everything that's coming, the NFT lines that are being set up, it's amazing. And I know everyone out there in the crypto space is excited as I am. So thank you so much, Ian, for this opportunity. I am just really privileged to be here and be part and just be learning something new every single day, which is all I could ask for.
Awesome. Wow. I mean, I'm blown away by these guys' background. I work with them, but hearing the experience every time, it kind of gives me chills. And I mean, so
awesome.
I still remember when Nick had the first conversations in the community chat, like many of you probably had with Connoisseur, and Connoisseur was explaining the Ferrum pre-sale structure, and Nick comes to me like, we got to dump all our bags and go all into Ferrum. It was great. I was like, all right. So the journey has been fun. I'll take a few minutes to explain my background, and we'll kind of move on to, I know we've been on for a few minutes already with this video, so we kind of hit on some highlights. My name is Taha Abbasi. Just to give you a little bit of background about Nick and Nichell, I don't know if they mentioned. So they're helping myself lead the growth and strategy division that's newly formed. Nick serves as the Executive Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Community Relations, and Nichell serves as the Executive Vice President of Operations. I serve the Ferrum organization and the growth strategy division as the Chief Strategy Officer. By background, I'm really a tech guy. I started off developing software. I joke about when we still had physical keyboards on our phone. This is before the iPhone came out. It was initially a small business websites, and then I evolved into larger scale e-commerce website. A proud moment in that journey was when I was able to build a site with my team that had over 1 million different SKUs. So learned a lot about scalability there throughout that journey. Then built a patient relationship management systems in the medical field. Had a great honor of starting a software house right around 2013 with 4 of my colleagues. And that grew over the next 4 years to about 280 engineers spread throughout the globe. And during that period, obviously, I'm a big believer in always professionally developing my skill set and knowledge. So I had the privilege and honor of actually being accepted to Harvard University's Executive Education School. Learned a lot about from strategic initiatives there. That's where I learned a lot of business strategy. And then also MIT Sloan Education School, I got accepted over there. That was a great honor where I was in their Masters of Design Thinking program, focusing on human-centered design. And I kind of took that knowledge with the team that we had, and we were able to build some really impactful products. So as an example, we had the privilege and honor of I led the team that built some of the automation procedures used on the Mars 2020 in Europe emissions. And we learned some really cool things there. Like, for example, if you send a command to the Mars rover, you don't know if it worked or not for 28 minutes because it takes 14 minutes for the command to go to Mars and 14 minutes for it to come back. So for a good half hour, you're like, hope the camera's turning left. But we learned some really cool things about latency over there that then we were able to move over to some of the countries in South Asia. I'm from Pakistan originally, so those of you who are from my part of the world, you realize that we're not, now the internet situation is changing, but for the last couple of years, it wasn't always as fast as what US and Europe are used to. In US and Europe, if a site doesn't load in 2 seconds, people think it's broken. In Asia, if it's normal, sometimes it used to be at least a couple of years back for it to take a minute, 2 minutes or more to load in some of the remote areas. So we were commissioned by National Geographic Channel Singapore to actually build an Earth Day Run application. We applied a lot of the same learnings that we had from our previous experiences over there. So we've had some really cool experiences. We also did some work in Singapore with a company called Recreate, where we were doing some blockchain evangelist work, trying to promote the use case of the underlying technology that supports cryptocurrencies and how it can be used to tackle real world problems. That caught the attention of a few really cool people. They invited me to give a TEDx talk in Wilmington. So if you haven't checked that out, that's really, really a good way to understand how blockchain technology can be used for some other purposes. Just search Saving Lives with Blockchain on Google and you should see that. Why do we have Ferrum? We're Ferrum because we really saw an alignment in what our goals were. We were true believers in cryptocurrency, and not only that, the technology that powers it, and that it is the way of the future. And most of you have seen that. We saw Ferrum as a company that's well positioned to remove the barriers to mass adoption because that's been their goal. And with the divisions that they've set up and the team that they have, it's just what they've accomplished so far is just going to be a pebble in terms of where we're headed. And I think that's where, Ian, I'd love to get your kind of take on it. The way I look at it is there's a great podcast that came out by Dara, the CEO of Uber, who talked about how Uber, when it was growing, it was sort of that pirate ship mentality. Everybody's out there pioneering these new solutions, kind of creating these new products, which is what Ferrum's been doing, and it's led to its growth so far. And then there's this transition that a company goes through when it goes from the growth that Ferrum has experienced now to what it's now positioned to go to. Our long-term vision is obviously to hopefully put ourselves in a place where we can eventually be a permanent resident of the top 50 coin club. But that doesn't happen automatically. We need to get organized. So it's that transition from a pirate ship mentality to a well-organized Navy ship mentality where everybody has structures and processes, and we can add more ships to our fleet and grow really quickly. So Ian, what are you excited about some of the changes in the process we're bringing on? I know we've had some of those conversations. We're excited about automation, optimization, and standardization, and that enables us to grow our teams. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, Ferrum has historically been, startup, right? And a low cap at that. Small team, small budget. We were born in the bear market. We had limited resources, and we sort of had to improvise in many respects to get where we are today. But now it's grown. The market's changed. The opportunities are different. And we need people like yourselves to bring that level of organization and standardization that will allow us to continue to grow and sort of continue to highlight our strengths, which frankly, Nichell touched on something that really resonated with me, which is this notion of the speed that the market changes and the need to capture opportunities as they come. But we can't build things like the anti-bot division or the NFT division if we're all going in sort of separate directions and there's no organization or structure to it. So that's why I'm really excited to have you guys. You've already done so much for us. And again, I encourage folks to check out the BSC View video. You can see this team in action, really getting shit done, so to speak. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. So it's been a great journey with you guys so far. But I know the future's going to be even better for us.
I love it. Yeah, we can't wait, man. We can't wait to build some really cool stuff. And there's a lot that's coming, guys. A lot of the approaches that we're going to start adopting are things that have scaled really well in the traditional world. We're implementing processes and procedures that allow us to grow. If you don't know of a term in startup world called the two pizza team approach, it's something that Bezos pioneered at Amazon. Where we are able to add a lot of small teams to really quickly grow and hire more people, create more divisions. You already start seeing some hints of that. And what's to come just excites me. It gives me goosebumps. So we're excited for journey in, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. I mean, it's going to be a fun 2021 and beyond.
Love it. Well, thank you so much, guys. I know this has been a longer update, but hopefully you gained some nice insights into where Ferrum's going in the next months and years. And I hope you got to know Nick, Taha, and Nichell a little bit. You're going to see a lot more of them in videos in the community, dealing with partnerships to bring on new NFT providers, and doing one thing that I'll just touch on before we go. Everyone knows the incubator is a core part of the Ferrum business. It's providing tremendous utility for the token, huge upside for our investors. So we really want to make sure our incubator is best in class. And one thing we've found in incubating the 6, 7, 8 projects that we've launched thus far is that the needs of the teams don't just end magically post Uniswap launch. Yes, the team's grown. They've learned a lot. They're on better footing than they were, 2 months before when we first, began our journey with them. But there's still a long, long way to go. And so the GSD division is going to be adding a lot of value to our incubator projects in their post-launch journey. So helping scale the product, helping bring the organization and procedures in place that allow them to grow, helping add new utilities, all these different things that ensure that as a Ferrum investor and an investor in these incubated projects, you can rest assured that this project is going to continue to do well in the future because it's in great hands. So once again, want to thank the three of you for coming on board, coming on this weekly update. I want to shout out one more person who I totally forgot, who's an awesome new team member. And I apologize for not mentioning him earlier, but June, who's heading up a lot of our marketing strategies. I want to thank him as well. And frankly, any of the other teammates that I neglected to mention. You guys are all awesome. Thank you. And thank you to you three. But yeah, I think that should about do it for this week's update.